guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the front line. Pull up a chair. Let's get in the cabin, right? Um, Last night I tried to record 3 different times, and I felt like my energy was a little low anyway. I was a bit tired, um, and I was going to show you guys this PowerPoint presentation that I did concerning the garden, right? But once I recorded that 3 times and started going over that, found a little bit of edits that I want to make to it before I bring it to you guys. And I'm thinking that's why I kept messing up last night. The creator's like, this is not ready. Abandon ship. Okay, so instead, guys, what I would like to do is, you know what? I don't want my phone to turn dark sooner than I wanted to. And guys, you guys will be happy to know I got a new phone, right? Look at me. Let's see if we can change the screen darkness, right? This way we can, I feel like I gotta sneeze. Oh, excuse me, guys. This way we can really have a good time of this presentation today, right? So let me close that out. Hold on 1 second, guys. Sorry, I wish I had done that before we started, right? I hope this thing didn't go to the beginning. All right, it didn't. All right, well, first off, I want to thank you guys for coming back to the cabin this week with me. One of the things I want to talk to you guys about, too, is that, oh, man, it was a hot one this week. And if you're in, I think they said a large majority of the United States was under a heat wave. So if you guys got that, I got that, too. I am at the farm. Sometimes I have to wear rain boots, and it was as if I had soup in my boots, y'all, on one day. All right. So saying it's hot is probably an understatement, okay, guys? But we're dealing with it, right? So last week, guys, we went over Bathsheba, and I'm actually glad that we did that. You guys may probably don't know this, but when I do a recording, at times I'll listen to it again just to kind of see how it might have came across to you guys too. So that's when I noticed my energy was a little bit low too. So I want to make a change in trying to do my recordings with a little bit higher energy. You know what I mean? It'll be for the greater good of everybody. All right, for you guys, for myself. I'm likely to make less mistakes, especially when it comes to like pronunciation of words and things like that. I notice when I'm tired, I'm jumbling words together, and it just does not do well. So today, I wanted to come to you guys and discuss something I noticed when I went back to listen to the Bathsheba recording, right? And it was actually concerning, well, let me show you guys real quick. It's actually concerning what I call David's confrontation avoidance pattern, right, guys? And it's funny because I realized something in the last recording that I had not realized before. That addresses 2 people specifically, as it's going to concern the confrontation avoidance pattern, right? So right here I said that I have, and this was in the Who Will You Obey, Your Creator or Your King, okay? This was in that series. Well, I put here that, of course, David, his grief and his confrontation avoidance pattern. Well, the first bullet point is in regards to his grief, which I put it was short-lived, okay? But the latter 2 bullet points are about the confrontation avoidance pattern and what I think fuels it and what came out of it, right? So one of the things that I put was that David does not deal with Joab if in fact he meant something different when he orders him to deal gently with Absalom. How does a captain take charge and disobey a direct order without consequence? And then I put the last bullet point. This is a pattern of conflict avoidance. This is a pattern of conflict avoidance on the part of David. David displays poor leadership. He fails to act when Amnon sexually assaults his half-sister Tamar. This ultimately fuels his war with Absalom. Okay. Well, the reason why I put these 2 bullet points here is because it was just something I was noticing with Joab. For Joab to be the captain of his army, he's actually a subordinate, right? So I always question, how was he able to kill Absalom? How was he able to shake the life out of David and tell him, you better put on a happy face and get out here in front of your subjects? I don't know many people that could get away with going to their leader, their king, and doing these type of things. But somehow we see Joab do it, right? And we also see that David fails to address the sexual assault from Amnon towards Tamar. So these are two examples of conflict avoidance pattern in David that I personally noticed, and I kept saying, well, what is fueling this? That David seems to be in one lifetime able to fight a giant and and rescue his sheep from a lion, but he's afraid, it seems, to address Joab, and he's afraid, it seems, to address Amnon after he rapes his daughter, right? However, last week we read an article, right, guys? Fair use for the purposes of teaching and education. It was this article concerning Bathsheba, right, guys? This article I enjoyed, actually, because to me this article kind of highlights a whole background story and paints a fuller picture than what we've got in previous accounts, right? Okay. I want to take you guys to the part David encourages Uriah to violate the laws of war and sleep with his wife while the ark is in the field. Well, it seems like David would have violated the laws of war. If he slept with Bathsheba, he did it while the ark was in the field. Let's see. I'm trying to find you. When the article tells us that the young prince, David's son Amnon, would have done this because he watched David just take Bathsheba with no consequence, and he maintained his throne. Nothing happened. There was no consequence. Here it is. This is the verse that I read to you guys, I think, twice last week, because it was a very profound statement to me, right? I didn't put this together because, like I told you, I just saw it as a means for him to avoid conflict. However, avoiding the conflict, to me, now that I've read this article, kind of seems like a secondary thing. It seems more like he wanted to get away with it because he knew his father just got away with it. Listen, guys, we've raised children, right? And a lot of times we don't like to let the kids see us do wrong. We'll hide certain things. Maybe we'll drink later at night or whatever it is that we do, right? And some of us don't have any shame and we'll do these things in front of the kids. Listen, guys, this is a prime example of why something should remain behind closed doors, right? Or how about not take place at all? That would even be better. However, since it did take place, it would have been good if David would have exhibited some type of humility about what he was doing. But he was literally parading around and marrying and having a child with one of his very close soldiers. I mean, this was the man of 30, okay, guys? Like I told you, it's not the big It's not the big army that Joab gets later on. Okay, guys? So let me read this sentence to you guys. All right, we're right here. I'm trying to highlight it for you. No, I don't want to highlight everything, but we're right there. Here it goes. Darn it, I lost it again. Here we go. We're told that the rape of Tamar happened shortly after the affair with Bathsheba and the murder of Uriah. About 12 years later, we come to the revolt of Absalom. So the rape of Tamar could not have happened much later than David's 50th year. Moreover, since Ahithophel? Yeah. Moreover, since Ahithophel was still alive at the time of Absalom's revolt, we cannot press the revolt forward much farther than this. No, this is not what I was trying to read. Oh gosh, where is that? I want to read this one to you guys where the rape of, not the rape of Bathsheba, the rape of Tamar is not addressed because of the fact that, what is David going to say, right? His son has watched him steal a woman from one of his prized, I guess we would say like mercenaries, or, you know what I mean? We've watched these movies where you got that, what do we call it, like a SWAT team or special operations team. We've watched these type of movies that show that, right? But we never, I guess, put two and two together that this is like a specialized team, okay? This is like a ranger team, all right? You got your army and then you got your rangers, okay? These are guys that work great in a small group that can get in there and get close to the enemy without being noticed or seen. And I think that these were the type of guys that were in this Men of 30. Okay, right here. We're told the rape of Tamar happened shortly after the affair with Bathsheba. No, that's not it. God, and that sounds so confident. That's what's so funny. Yeah, I want to bring you guys to that sentence. All right, you know what? I'm not going to put y'all through this. Let me pause this for a second. Okay, guys, I'm back. I found it. And you know what was messing me up is that I kept thinking it was a much bigger paragraph. So I had to like literally read this whole article to find it. But this stopped me in my tracks last week, right? Because to me, it gave an answer for David's lack of, let me turn that fan off. It gave an answer for David's lack of confrontation, right? Or that patterns of confrontation avoidance, right? That I talked about, guys. So right here where it says finally, all right, 2 Samuel 13:1 implies, though it does not flatly state, that Amnon's rape of Tamar happened shortly after David's sin with Bathsheba. Clearly, the firstborn royal prince thought he could get away with this because his father had done so, right? So that to me gave me a really good reason as to what may have caused David not to address this situation. Because had he addressed it, perhaps we would not have been dealing with, had he not, it sounded like had he not committed the sin that he had committed, had he been a better role model to his son, that his son may have in fact not have committed his sin. All right, but the author makes a good point here that the rape of Tamar does happen right, literally like right in the next chapter after he and Bathsheba run off into the sunset, right? And we also get the answer as to why Joab is able to get away with so much. So it seems like David is allowing this situation with Joab to fester. Oh, it's going to start at the beginning, guys. It seemed as if he was letting this situation with Joab fester. Oh no, this is what happens in the gardens, guys. How did we get into that? Anyway, it seems like he lets the situation with Joab fester, as well as the situation with he doesn't punish Joab for killing Absalom, guys. We discussed that in the rightful rulership, right? That it's actually Joab that finds Absalom in the terebinth. Well, Joab didn't find him. Somebody found him in the terebinth tree and told Joab. And Joab was like, hey, why did you just stab him? And, that person said, hey, the king commanded that I don't do such and such. So, that's on you, because if I had done it, you would have killed me. So this whole conversation goes on. And then Joab goes and finds Absalom in a tree, and he throws a javelin through his heart, if I'm not mistaken. That's the story. But Joab is not punished, even though David supposedly tells him to deal gently with Absalom. But I want to show you guys something that I picked up last week in reading the biblical account of David and Bathsheba again, right? I see some of the secrets that Joab holds for David, right? So let's go on over to 2 Samuel. And I'm going to show you guys exactly what I mean about that, right? So now we kind of got an idea as to what's going on, why David's not able to address Amnon for raping his sister, right? Because David is not a good role model. So what does David look like going up to his son and saying, hey, you shouldn't have done this, that, and the third? A lot of times we don't want our kids to say to us, what do you look like telling me that, you did X, Y, and Z, So a lot of times we hold a lot of guilt, and we won't discipline our kids because of that. So it looks like we see a prime example of the king having this guilt within him and not able to address Amnon. So now we're going to find out what kind of secrets does Joab have for him, right? Because I told you, there's the weird thing with David, afraid to deal with Joab. But now I see why. We went back last week into the account of Bathsheba, and it reminded me as to why. So I'm going to share you guys. Let's go to the account. Remember, David is supposed to be at the war, all right? Kings are supposed to go to war. So let's go to 2 Samuel 11, and then we'll go from 14 to 25. All right. Am I in 2 Samuel 11? Yes, I am. 14 to 25. All right. And it came to pass in the morning that David wrote a letter to Joab and sent it by the hand of Uriah. And he wrote in the letter saying, set ye Uriah in the forefront of the hottest battle, and retire ye from him, that he may be smitten and die. So, and it came to pass, when Joab observed the city, that he assigned Uriah unto a place where he knew that valiant men were. And the men of the city went out and fought with Joab. And there fell some of the people of the servants of David, and Uriah the Hittite died also. Then Joab sent and told David all the things concerning the war, and charged the messenger, saying, when thou hast made an end of telling the matters of the war unto the king, and if it so be that the king's wrath arise, and he say unto thee, wherefore approach ye so nigh unto the city when ye did fight? Knew ye not that they would shoot from the wall? Who smote Abimelech the son of Jerubbaal? Did not a woman cast a piece of a millstone upon him from the wall, that he died in Thebes? Why went ye nigh the wall? Why did you get so close to the wall, he's saying, right? Then say thou, thy servant Uriah the Hittite is dead also. So the messenger went and came and showed David all that Joab had sent for him. And the messenger said unto David, surely the men prevailed against us, and came unto us into the field, and we were upon them even unto the gate of the entering of the gate. And the shooters shot off the wall upon thy servants, and some of the king's servants be dead, and thy servant Uriah the Hittite is dead also. Then David said unto the messenger, thus shalt thou say unto Joab, let not this thing displease thee, for the sword devoureth one as well as another. It's funny he said that. Make thy battle more strong against the city, and overthrow it, and encourage thou him. Okay, so David and Joab are playing this little game. like the war was just so treacherous and we made a few mistakes. And yeah, we shouldn't have got near the wall because we would have known they were going to shoot. However, it's saying that the sword took Uriah and that they were valiant men. Valiant men aren't usually likely to stand back with an arrow and shoot at you. So I don't know if they're trying to, it seems as if they're trying to mislead people as to how Uriah got killed. Because people knew that he was a mighty man, and that if he was in a battle with these other mighty men, how could he have gotten killed? This is like the assassins group right here. So how does he get killed? So they want to come up with this great little game that they play in front of people because people are watching. And that's something that I noticed that David does a lot of. Just like when he told Joab to deal gently with Absalom, it's always in earshot, or the people heard David say it. It just seems like a little game that they play to me. Like wink, wink. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So this is an example right here of Joab sending a message. David has already sent a little letter to Joab telling him to put Uriah on the front line of the battle. So no wonder why Joab can go in there and shake David and say, hey, you better get up. You better get up before I tell these people how you put Uriah out there on the battlefield and took his wife. Okay, maybe that's what that shaking was about. Anyway, so I think that this is a good example to show us one example as to what secret Joab has for David, and why David is avoiding conflict, right, with Joab specifically. So let's go to the second example with Joab. It's going to be in 2 Samuel 12:26 through 31. All right. And Joab fought against Rabbah of the children of Ammon and took the royal city. And Joab sent messengers to David and said, I have fought against Rabbah and have taken the city of waters. Now therefore gather the rest of the people together and encamp against the city and take it, lest I take the city and it be called after my name. And David gathered all the people together and went to Rabbah and fought against it and took it. And he took their king's crown off his head. The weight thereof was a talent of gold with the precious stones, and it was set on David's head. And he brought forth the spoil of the city in great abundance. And he brought forth the people that were therein, and put them under saws, and under harrows of iron, under axes of iron, and made them pass through the brick kiln. That's a brick heater. And thus did he unto all the cities of the children of Ammon. So David and all the people returned unto Jerusalem. All right, guys, so listen, right, in 26, I think this is really funny, and I think this is yet another secret. The writer of that article said that David was trying to get Uriah to commit a sin, which would be to be actively in war with the ark out and to be engaging in sexual relations, right? Yet David is engaging in those relations. David is not at this war. David is falling back, and Joab is cleaning up house. Like, Joab is the man. Joab is going out and he's taking cities and stuff, and he tells David right here in 26, well, let's not say 26, 28, right? Let's start at 27. And Joab sent messengers to David and said, I have fought against Rabbah and have taken the city of waters. Now therefore gather the rest of the people together and encamp against the city and take it, lest I take the city and it be called my name. David gathered all the people together and went to Rabbah and fought against it and took it. All right. But he showed up at the end. He showed up. There's another example too of a sin that David committed when he was recording the number of the children of Israel and I believe Judah, and the Creator gives him a choice to choose between 3 punishments, and even in that, it seems as if David chooses what's the easiest for David, without consideration for the people to me. But I'm going to go back to that story, and I'm going to really read through that and show you guys what I'm talking about with that story. It was the one about the threshing floor, guys. I have to get into that one, guys. But this is just another. This is a couple of examples of David avoiding conflict. Okay, it's a conflict avoidance pattern, and when you're a leader, there's no such thing. You can't just fall back and not address conflict. And this is what David was doing. But the reason why you can't address conflict is because you're not upstanding. You're not doing righteous stuff, and you're not being upstanding and transparent. Because if you were, you wouldn't have things to hide. Your commanding soldier would not have um, hold cards on you. Okay. This is why Joab can go in there and shake him when his baby died and say, "You better get up and go out there." Okay. And this is why uh, it's Uriah, the death of Uriah. It's this cockamamie story right here where he's telling the messenger to tell him, "Oh, they were shooting arrows." And if he gets mad, tell him, "Hey, we didn't really know." He's preparing the messenger. Luckily, David doesn't get too mad, does he? David encourages Joab and tells him, "Just fight better the next time, Joab." Okay? Joab is cleaning up shop. But, this is just a good example to me of showing you guys how, when I say that there was this pattern of conflict avoidance, there was definitely a pattern of conflict avoidance. So much so that the royal prince, it says right here, the royal prince thought he could get away with this because his father had done so. Okay, guys? So, like I said, I just wanted to go back to this article for this week because I thought this was a really good article, and it felt like it answered questions for me that were in the "Would You Disobey Your Creator to Obey Your King" series. Okay, guys? So, I hope this helped to shed some light on exactly what I was talking about concerning the conflict avoidance pattern, right? And let me show you guys, because I feel like I've made promises and not quite delivered, right? So you'll see right here, guys, I have actually started this PowerPoint, and I got to get on it. I got to get on it. Yeah, and I actually included Bathsheba last week, right? We'll go over is he appointed by the Creator? We'll talk about how the kings of Israel were chosen, how they are declared, how they're crowned, the function of the king, uh, the first temple, right, guys? We're going to get into all of this with Solomon, but you guys got to give me some time to build this up. Thus far, we've only got like 10 slides, I believe. No, 20 slides. So it's not going to be a really, really lengthy one, but I might build more on this as we're going along because it's really imperative, guys. I told you, Solomon was the one that was engaged in compulsory labor. All right? That's slavery. I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but these are the terms I'm seeing when it comes to Solomon. So we're going to give me some time, guys. I'm going to be working on this. As you can see, I am putting out my material like a day late, right? And I told you guys last night I tried to record 3 times unsuccessfully, okay? So first, I want to thank you guys for your patience. I want to thank you guys for your support, for your ear, for me knowing that I'm being heard, and that the content is watched. That's all I need, guys. That means that if I even see one like or one view, that I've done what it is that the Creator wants me to do, and I've got this message out. Okay, guys. So next week we'll continue. We could be getting into the branch, right? Because I really want to get into the branch, guys. We could be talking about, which to me the branch is the XX, right, guys? We could be talking about the why death. We could be talking about disgruntled Adam, right, guys? We talk about a lot over here. But I think we're going to keep on going, right? And talk about the branch. And we've got to get into Solomon too, right, guys? Because I'm telling you, Solomon is a throne hijack who was not chosen by the Creator. So we'll get into that. So thank you guys for all your support. I feel like somebody out there is even saying a prayer for me. And I thank you guys for that because um, my job was, I had a good time this week at the job. It was, last week was so intensive, and this week it was much more relaxing. So if there is somebody out there praying for me, I thank you guys, and know that I'm going to be praying for my viewers. All right, guys. And I want you guys to know that we're on this climb together, right? So I'll see you guys next week at the cabin. Thank you. Thank you for pulling up a chair. Take care, guys. It's your girl, Shamar. Much love. And I'm still recording. Much love, guys.